Okay, we've got close to about 40 people on the line. I always like to be prompt. So I'm going to speak slowly as people filter in, but I want to welcome everyone today to this ACCE Partner Solutions session. Today, we're going to be hearing from our terrific partners at Google, and our topic today is hosting a digital skills workshop using free tools from Grow with Google. My name is Beth Bronder, and I'm the Vice President of Partnerships, and I have the honor of working with amazing organizations like Google who not only support ACCE, but they support and work so closely with many chambers across the country. Today, it's very exciting. We're going to be looking at a specific example, how one of our members, the Lake Havasu Area Chamber, used the free tools that Google offers to train and provide lots of new skills to their members in order to help them grow their business. They are the newly minted winners of the 2021 Grow with Google Community Partnership Awards. This is an awards program between ACCE and Google, where we took a look at best practices and nominations of organizations that were creatively, innovatively, enthusiastically using Google resources to help bring skills to their members and train their members up on a variety of things. We'll be hearing today from Niki Nichols, the VP of Investor Relations at the Lake Havasu Chamber, and she will tell us about the process of how she built out her program and why it was an award winner. So before I start and before I hand things over to Justine Benesh from Google, I do have a couple housekeeping items. First of all, you're all on mute, so we don't have to worry about background noise. That said, we do want to hear from you. So there's a questions tab, and if you have questions as you go, please put them in there. We'll answer them if we can as we go. Otherwise, we'll hold them until after the presentations during the question and answer period. We'd also love to hear from you in the chat feature. So if you want to give us a comment or any feedback about today's program or anything that you're seeing, feel free to put something in there. I know this is typically a very chatty audience, and chamber members are never shy. Finally, today's session will be recorded. So if you have colleagues that couldn't make it today or may have registered but weren't able to dial in, we will be sending you a recording of this entire session along with the presentation about 24 to 48 hours after we finish today. It will also be available on our website under the Professional Development tab, Partner Solutions Webinars. So very easy to find in both ways. So now it is my pleasure to hand things over to the real star of today's show, Justine Benesh, who is the Partner Marketing Manager for Google, heading up the Grow with Google program and working very closely with chambers. She's going to talk to us a little bit today about the program, and then she's going to hand it off to Niki to talk about the specifics of their award-winning applications. Justine, let's get things started.
Thanks so much, Beth. I'd love to say thank you so much to Beth and Ellie over at ACCE. We've been working with ACCE since almost as long as I've been at Google, which is since 2014. So ACCE has been great partners, enabling us to get in touch with chamber organizations so that we can help you all get connected with the free Google tools and resources that you need in order to be able to bring them to your communities. And Beth said she was turning it over to the real star of the show, and I can assure you that that is not me. The star of the show will definitely be Niki Nickle from the Lake Havasu Chamber, who I'm going to turn it over to in a few minutes. So I don't want to take too much time to talk about Google things, but I think it bears some context setting around the Grow with Google Partner Program and how Niki came to be connected with the resources that she used in order to bring digital skills and tools to her community. So I'm sorry, as Beth said, I'm Justine Benesh. I'm a partner marketing manager at Google, and I'm also the team lead for the Grow with Google Partner Program. So some of you on this call, I took a look at the list of people who'd registered for today. I know that some of you may already be partners of ours, and I'd like to say welcome. And to the rest of you, I hope that you will join us as partners after you see this presentation. But I wanted to provide a little bit of background to you all as to what Grow with Google is, what the Grow with Google Partner Program is. And for some of you, you may be a little bit familiar with this because you are already partners of ours. But I think that Niki's portion of the presentation is really going to be illuminating in terms of what is possible as a Grow with Google partner. So just to give you a little bit of an understanding, Grow with Google is an economic opportunity initiative created by Google to address the opportunity gap that faces the workforce in the US. So this is more commonly known as the digital divide. So we've got a couple of stats that studies show that 1 in 3 workers believe that if they lost the job that they had today, they would need additional education or training in order to find a similar job. And that over 80% of small business owners are looking to learn more about digital tools to help their businesses. So that most recent stat that I just mentioned is actually taken from a survey run during COVID-19. So a lot of business owners are recognizing that they need to increase their online presence and learn more about digital skills in order to be successful as a business in this post-COVID world, or during COVID world, and hopefully soon post-COVID world. So in response to this digital divide, Google launched Grow with Google, and this program draws on Google's 20-year history of building products, platforms, and services that help people and businesses grow. But we understand very deeply that we can't reach all the people that we want to reach and help all the businesses and job seekers that we want to help by ourselves. We're a large company, we're a corporation, and we understand that there are many more organizations that are more qualified and already doing the work in your local communities, and that you know best how the businesses that you work with learn what they want to learn about and the best way to reach them. So with this in mind, we created the Grow with Google Partner Program. So we've already partnered with thousands of organizations across the country in an effort to teach digital skills using Grow with Google tools and curriculum. So types of partners in this organization, chambers are actually our #1 most active partner type. You are slowly edging out or very narrowly edging out the Small Business Development Center community. They're our 2nd most active partner type, but we have a lot of very active libraries, community colleges, and other organizations that work directly with small businesses and job seekers in your local communities. So what do you get by joining this program? The biggest thing is you get access to all of our resources. So all of our presentation materials, including guides on our tools, presentation decks that include speaker notes on how to present them, digital handouts that you can share with your communities, or you can print out and share if we get back to hosting in-person workshops. So basically everything that you would need in order to host a workshop around digital skills in your communities. You also get a direct line to Google. So before this call started, Beth and Nikki and I were talking about how being in this virtual world sort of humanizes you a little bit. As you can see, I'm taking this call from my bedroom, which is not normally something that you guys would get to see when I'm presenting on a presentation like this. But one of the things, it's related to this because one of the things that the Grow with Google Partner Program does is it allows you contact with Google and a humanizing face at Google. So if you have questions about products, like say you're interested in using the Google My Business product to help small businesses be found when customers are looking for them on Google Search and Maps. We have a lot of partners that say to us, I've been, talking about this product for years. I think it's a really great product, but sometimes my businesses have issues with this or that, or their business listing is being suspended, and I don't know why, and I can't get the answer as to why. This program will give you a place to go to ask why. So we have a team, the team that I manage, that's spread across the country. We have an email address you guys can reach out to, where you can say, hey, I have a business. Can you look up this business and tell me why they're being suspended? And we can walk you through the steps of how this business can resolve the issue if it is resolvable. So that's one of the big things that you can take advantage of as a Grow with Google partner. Finally, we have, I'd like to mention a discussion board, which is an online forum within our partner community where you can interact with other partners like Niki, get their opinion on how to host workshops, what's worked for them, and sort of hear from the experts rather than just simply hearing from our team. So through this program, we offer resources for you to host multiple types of workshops. And Niki is a great person to offer insight into these workshops because she has hosted all of these types. So a self-facilitated workshop means that you as the chamber would host the workshop information yourselves. So you would use the presentation materials that we provide to you in the partner community and read the presentation notes, watch the trainer videos that we have available, take a look at the handouts, and then present the material yourself. So we have a lot of partners that are interested in becoming an expert on Google tools, for whom this is a really attractive option. For those of you who are looking to become a little bit better at public speaking, this is also a great option for you. But we also know that not everyone feels comfortable presenting on everything, on certain topics themselves. So we have a couple of other ways that you can host workshops. One is around our Partner Digital Series. So this is a series of live stream events. We do about 6 a year. And the majority of those are dedicated to small business topics or multi-audience topics that are relevant to small businesses as well. And then the others are dedicated to job seeker topics. But as part of this Partner Digital Series, you could host a viewing party. And at the point where everybody is getting back to hosting in-person workshops, you could have individuals come to your chamber, watch the viewing party together that's presented by one of our Google experts. And then from there, you could host a Q&A session or tack on another workshop or something like that. So we have the material available for you presented through one of our trained Google speakers, and you simply have to cast it to your group. We also have guidance for how to host one of these viewing parties virtually, or you can simply spread the word about the live stream session to the businesses that you work with, and they can join the session live from home. Another option we have is our trainer supported workshops. Niki can also speak to this. She works with one of our amazing trainers, Dave Delaney, in her local area. And our trainers are available for workshops, up to 1 workshop per quarter. As long as you can get 30 people to attend your workshop, we will send a professional speaker completely free of cost to come and present the workshop for you. So this is a good option if you want to do a mix of workshops where you feel a little bit more comfortable with some sessions yourself or some topics yourself. You could present that material yourself. And if other topics seem a little bit more confusing to you, you could get a trainer to come in and present on those topics. Finally, we have the one-on-one coaching option, which all of the materials that are available to you in our online resource hub, which is called the Partner Community, they are easily able to be used to train individuals one-on-one, because we know many of our partners are interested in working with businesses that way rather than having big groups come together for workshops. So these are the different types of workshops that you can host through our program. And as I said, we would provide all of the materials for these workshops, including the presentation decks, promotional materials that you can use, pre-written, that you can edit how you see fit and post on your promotional channels. We have a registration platform that you can use. You don't have to use it, but if you are looking for a platform to use to register people for your workshop, we have a way that you can create one in our partner community. We'll promote your workshop for you on the Grow with Google website if that's something that you're interested in. Essentially, we're really looking for ways to get this content out there to let businesses know about the free tools and resources that they may not be aware of that they can use to grow their businesses online. And all of this is available to you completely free of cost through the Grow with Google Partner Program. So how do I get a hold of these wonderful resources that you've talked about, Justine, you may ask? And it's very easy to do. Excuse me, sorry. You can visit the URL that you see on the screen, which is g.co/grow/ACCE. That's a simple vanity URL we have set up for you all. And you'd complete a really simple application form that'll just tell us some more about your organization. We would make sure you are in fact a nonprofit organization that works with the audiences we're looking to work with, and that you are affiliated with that organization. And your application will be reviewed, and within 2 or 3 business days, you'll be approved to be in the program. Once you've been approved, you'll receive an email from our team with information on how to create a login for our partner community, which is where you can access all of our resources and tools. And you will also receive a link in that email to set up time to attend one of our welcome webinars, where we'll give you a walkthrough about how to use the partner community and what your next steps should be. So I often have partners ask me, or potential partners ask me, sort of what's in this for Google. And really, my husband also works at Google, and both of us like to joke that we work on the parts of Google that don't make any money for the company. He is on the education side, and I'm on the economic impact and recovery side. Google is really not trying to use this program as a tool to sell anything to any of the businesses. We do talk about a number of Google tools throughout our content, but the majority of the tools that we talk about are free or low cost to learners. There are certain things, like in a couple of the presentations, we'll talk about Google Ads. That is a paid product, but it's one of the biggest products that Google has available for small businesses that many small businesses don't understand how to use. So it would be a little bit remiss for us to not include it in some of our presentations, but we're not trying, the ultimate goal of this program is not trying to turn any of your businesses into Google Ads customers or to make anyone use any of Google's paid products. We're really trying to focus on how can we help the US bridge this digital gap, and how can we be useful, especially during times like this, during times like COVID-19, to help small businesses stay in business and to help them actually grow and flourish online. So I do hope that you will join us. Again, the URL is on the screen. I'll flash that up again for you later on in the presentation or at the end of the presentation. And now, I could go on all day talking about the resources available through the program. I love my job. I love the team that I work with. I really love working with partners. I used to work for a nonprofit myself, so I understand how hard you all work and how scrappy you all need to be. But instead of my talking about this program that I work on as part of my job, I really would like to hand this over to one of your colleagues, Nickle from the Lake Havasu Chamber of Commerce. So the Chamber has been a Grow with Google partner since 2015, and during that time, they have hosted, they hosted a mix of events, both one-on-one training events and workshop events, so over 15, and they've trained hundreds of small businesses in their community. And so the Chamber was selected by ACCE as this year's winner of the Grow with Google Community Partnership Award for identifying a problem that many of their local businesses were not showing up when customers were searching for them on Google. And using Grow with Google resources provided through our program, the Chamber has hosted hands-on training to help. So I'm super happy to have Niki here to talk about her experience providing digital skills trainings and to talk about what worked best for her chamber and the businesses that she works with. So I'll hand it over to Niki.
Thank you, Justine, and thank you to everybody for attending. Thank you, Beth and Ellie from ACCE. It's been such a pleasure to work with you guys on this presentation, and we're just so excited and honored to have been considered and awarded the Grow with Google Partner Award. So without further ado, we can move on into my presentation. I am not actually great with this program. So Justine, I appreciate you moving the slides forward. If you can move to the next one. Awesome. So I'm not big for wording in different slides, but I'm going to start off with just some tips and tricks of what helped us jumping into this Grow with Google partnership. You guys are, for the most part, I believe, or if not all, chamber executives, and in this career, you understand that nobody has the time or the resources staff-wise to make Google your full-time career and do all of that training and host a workshop every week. So we definitely want the most impact for the buck. Well, back about 5 years ago almost, I attended my first year at Institute for Organization Management in Tucson. And we were able to hear from a Google trainer there. And she just was going on and on about these social media trends and the impact of having a presence on Google. And I just was feverishly writing it all down. And I'm like, this is gold. I have to bring this back to our members. I have to let them know all this information that I've just soaked up in this training seminar. And then at the very end, she goes, well, there's no need to write it down. You could be a Google partner. You could have access to all of this information that's already Google branded and be that advocate for your local businesses. So when I got back, as you all know, when you go to training, you come back with just books of ideas and things to implement, but this was one that was on my list that we needed to implement right away. So we jumped on board, and of course, you know, I'm not a Google expert, and especially at that time I wasn't, and already had a full plate load. So I jumped into the partner community and I said, okay, how do I get in this? How do I teach something that I don't even understand fully? And what Justine said is 100% true. That partner community and those resources, they give you everything that you need. They give you the slides to present with, these beautifully made videos, and all of the notes, presenter notes on it. So it really helped. And I started off with a bite-sized chunk of, are you Googleable? And I coined that and sent it out, sorry, Google, rather than become a Google or have a presence on Google. We just said, are you Googleable? And we realized that so many of the businesses in our smaller community of 55,000 didn't have a Google presence. If you pulled up if you Googled their business name, it came up with a business in New York City, all the way across the US. So we invited a small group of, I think our first class was like 10 people. And my little tip to anybody that's thinking about presenting, if you're not very comfortable with it, start off small and start off with those members that you already have a good rapport with, and don't get overwhelmed. You don't have to have all the answers. When I started out this presentation, I knew that I had that resource to email the Grow with Google team and get the answers that might come up during this presentation. So I didn't have to just come up with these answers on the spot. And from that, I would say, oh, that's a great question. Can you verify a PO box? Which the answer is no. But during that, I said, well, let me reach out to the Google team and find that out for you. And it really was a great return on investment for our chamber investors, our local businesses, to say, oh my gosh, the chamber has that resource. They have the ear of Google and can Scooby-Doo this information for us. So we started off small and then found all these different ways to be relevant to our members. And right now, we started pre-pandemic. Obviously, this photo here was one of the workshops I hosted for our Realtors Association in town, which actually ended up netting us some investors from it that weren't already investing with the chamber. And I was doing a Are You Googleable class there. But we don't have time to always plan these like hour-long training sessions. So there are other ways, as Justine said, where you can do a co-host. And I love our local trainer. I say local, he kind of works the West Coast here, Dave Delaney. He's really engaging. He knows what he's talking about. I'm not as comfortable yet hosting personally the new YouTube and how to grow your business using YouTube. He's fantastic at it. So a resource that I have is to do like a co-host with him. He does all the training and we get that relevancy to our members. So there are so many different ways to do it. And from doing these, I do a lot of one-on-one work with our members too. I never ask for, I never want to manage their Google accounts. I never get their information, but I can help them navigate their listings and best practices according to Google. So I love this post here and how she mentioned, because anytime I get excited, I talk about chamber, I get the chills. And when I talk about businesses bettering themselves, I get the chills. And that was actually mentioned in a little comment on here. So I thought that was fun. We also did and I apologize, I talk all over the place. I have bullet points and God love me for putting bullet points up here, but I never follow them. So we did a summit pre-pandemic with about 100 attendees. It was the Up with Women Summit. And we had a professional speaker came out that we paid good money for, a good professional keynote speaker. But we also had a speaker from Google, just as was mentioned before. Her name was Maria, and we put it all over our marketing. We have this Google expert that's coming to talk about how to be relevant utilizing Google tools. And that was such a huge drive for this summit for these people to come to. So we've really found a way to make this a true partnership where we can utilize these tools that aren't costing us anything. We don't pay, what I tell everybody, we don't pay Google and Google doesn't pay us, but we definitely help each other out. We make sure that when people search Google, the information's correct for our local businesses, and Google provides us all of those tools to help our local businesses. All right, we can move, I guess, to the next slide. What am I talking about on this? Yes, there's the bullet points. So now that we are hosting a plethora of all virtual at the moment, just like this, how to become Googleable, how to, once you are verified via Google, which actually Google lets us expedite the process of verifying local businesses. So if you've ever yourself done it or heard from a business, when you get Google verified, you have to wait about a week to get a postcard back so they make sure that you are a brick and mortar or your household is in that location. What we can do is actually expedite that process as partners and get them sent a email verification within a few days, if that. So that's a fantastic resource for our local businesses. Getting back onto this slide, now that we are hosting these with, you know, over 600 members, a lot of them have attended, and we want to know what's most relevant. So I started a constant contact. This is within, I want to say, a day of sending it out to our membership. We got 30 responses back, and it's asking what are the relevant topics that you guys want to hear about, because you all understand return on your time investment. I don't want to host a Google class that maybe 2 people are going to attend. So we looked at what is relevant to everybody, and then what time frames, and also now we are able to host in-person gatherings in Arizona, so whether they would want in-person or Zoom. And using this, we put it out on our social media and we put it out on our email to our members. Using this data, though, we're able to stay relevant and book upcoming trainer sessions. Or Dave Delaney has a session coming out, that's the YouTube session I was talking about before. And I'm like, ooh, everybody wants YouTube. And his training session fell right in that timeline that is most sought after by our members. Why would I use my time to train it when we have this Google trainer that can do it? So we sent out that invite to all of our members. We're co-hosting it. And there are just so many great resources. And once you kind of get in the groove of it, it becomes second nature. It really doesn't take much time away from other things that you guys are all doing. I know you're super busy. Once again, I truly appreciate you guys taking the time to discover a little bit more about what being a Google partner means. And I think the next one. So, I'm doing okay on time. So we are so humble, grateful, and excited to have won this award from ACCE and the Grow with Google partners. Our local newspaper heard about it because we don't always sing our own praises. So this was a great way to get the word out. We are rural Arizona, so for us to win this national, what we consider a national award, is truly fantastic, and it's a great gold star on our community and our chamber. And for hosting quite a few trainer sessions, we are a Grow with Google high impact partner that you see at the bottom of this slide, and that actually we put in our emails that we send out. So that's a great conversation starter. Google does have awards, or I would say like milestones that you get throughout the year, depending on a rewards program. That's what it is. Depending on how many sessions that you do, where you'll be a bronze partner, you can be a high impact partner, depending on how many pretty much touch points you're doing throughout the year utilizing Google tools. So fantastic. Running a little bit on time, but I want to let you guys all know I am here to answer any questions if you have any. You can always reach me. I can put my email in the chat. I'm happy to show you how this has really helped our retention for our members and for gaining new members, because this is a great benefit that they get by being a member of the chamber. And the last slide. There we go. Move my notes away. So always about wrapping it all up, because like I said, I do talk like a rabid chipmunk. It's crazy that people actually listen to me train. But just to reiterate the tools that Google has, we do have all of the resources in the partner community. And by partner community, it's just that website, and it's got workshops, workshop materials, social media marketing for those workshops, notes on it, videos. There's also a link to digestible videos, and I can't tell you how many times I've sent that out to members that just kind of want to do their own research or their own training at their own time. So there's just so much in that partner resource. When you are hosting a workshop, you can actually ask for materials to be sent to you. So what I love to do, because it's a takeaway, you can get like Google Pens, you get a Google folder, and these postcards that can go out to your members afterwards. This, by the way, is a great resource. It's a pretty much free social media marketing utilizing your Google reviews. So that's kind of a next step takeaway for our members and our local businesses. But it's stuff that they don't have to retain me saying. I can actually hand them something physical to take with them to continue on their journey of their own marketing, utilizing Google tools. So that workshop support to the videos that they have. I just about cry. I'm a pretty emotional person, but I just about cry every time that I read or watch the it's in one of the presentations, but it's are you being relevant, utilizing your Google presence and keywords and meeting people where they're at. And there's just a cute baby scene in it and a puppy scene, and that's all it takes to get me. So it's really nice because it adds that next level to your presentations when you're talking to people. And the direct line to Google, once again, we have a lot of home-based businesses, as I'm sure you guys probably have more now in your communities, and that utilize PO boxes because they don't want to give out their home address. But Google needs to know that they are physically located in the community, that they're not somebody just claiming to have a presence within your community. So they can't use those PO boxes. They have to use their home address, and then they can have it not listed to the public. But many people don't know that. So they'll put in a PO box and their listing will go up, and then it'll freeze because something went wrong. So having that direct line to Google when something happens, maybe with their listing, maybe they incorrectly inputted something, we can Scooby-Doo it together and make sure that they are verified correctly and things are moving along. So they're not trying to sit there Googling their Google problem. So that direct line is fantastic for those follow-up questions. Because like I said in the first slide, you don't need to get overwhelmed and you don't have to have all the answers. You are your members, your local business's resource. And the more I started doing the training, the more it made sense what I was saying. And now I can have those conversations, those candid conversations with our businesses, and with full confidence answer their questions, because I know that that is the correct answer over all these years doing it. But as far as the training resources, they're always updating it to stay relevant. So the presentation that I did 4 years ago is vastly different from the one now. So I do like that because we can re-invite our business community to come back and get an updated training. And then the virtual training, what was I going to say here? Yeah. So once again, utilizing those viewing parties. If you're just getting started, watch how the other trainers do it. I actually got feedback from a lot of our business community on trainers that they really enjoyed watching, and maybe some that just didn't quite speak to them the right way. And everybody, though, loves when we send out Dave Delaney's training. Even if we're not co-hosting it, the Google partnership sends us when there is a virtual training happening, maybe co-hosted by a different chamber. And so we share that with our members and give them those resources and share recordings with them. And they're really grateful. It's such an awesome resource that really doesn't take much man hour and manpower to do. And I think that is the last of my slides. So I will turn it back on over.
Thanks so much, Nikki. It's super awesome to have Nikki join us today because we did not give her any guidance on what to say. Obviously, we hoped it was going to be some positive stuff, but one of the things that I think it is really beneficial to a presentation like this is I want to know the good, the bad, and the ugly about the program. Obviously, I had a hunch that Nikki had positive things to say about the program because she won this award. She's hosted so many events. She's trained so many people. But I'm so glad that we were able to provide some resources that were able to help you, Nikki. And I really want to truly thank you for all the work that you're doing with the businesses in your community. And you're using this program exactly how we designed it to be helpful to businesses in the community. So I just want to reiterate for everyone, and we'll take time for questions in just a minute. So if everybody wants to start entering questions into I see we have a couple already, but put some questions into the questions panel, and we'll have Nikki answer some, and potentially I can answer some. The link to apply to be a partner is g.co/grow/ACCE. And then I have one more slide that I just wanted to put up here for you guys. I talked a little bit earlier about the Partner Digital Series. It used to be called Partner Live Streams. Now it's called the Digital Series, and we have one coming up on May 5th on selling with an engaging email marketing strategy. So these topics really run the gamut. Our last Partner Digital Series was around being productive and how to use Google tools to be productive. This one, we're partnering up with Constant Contact to talk about using an email marketing strategy. So we don't always only focus on Google tools. There are plenty of times when we focus on general digital skills and also partner up with other organizations like Constant Contact to host sessions like this one. So if you join the partner program, we will email you more information about the Partner Digital Series and how you might be able to host a viewing party around it. Nikki also would be able to answer any questions about hosting viewing parties around our Partner Digital Series content. So I wanted to flash that up for you guys. And then I think we have some time for questions. So first question for you, Nikki, from, and I would love if you guys also want to drop in what chamber you're with and where you are. That's a great thing for us to know. So this question is from Rosalind. Do you charge for your workshops?
Oh, I have myself muted, sorry. It really depends. So when I do the just Google workshops, if it's the kind of preset Google workshops, I do not, because it's a member benefit. It helps us stay relevant. And actually right now, I'll just say, because you guys can all woohoo this, I just got a text from a local business in town who has her membership application and check ready to join, because I went in to tell her that she didn't have a Google presence before and helped her out with that even before joining. So love that and love that she's now Googleable. But as far as like that Big Up with Women Summit, where we do have costs behind it and it is a fundraiser, absolutely, we do have ticketed costs for those. But for the actual training itself, that's something that is in that member benefit category. It is a slippery slope though, like Justine said, you don't want to fall into the making it your full-time job. So I have had members that are like, hey, can we spend hours going through and making sure I'm doing the right photos or anything like that? And like, that's where those short bite-sized videos that Google has and those resources, I can kind of pass that off to them and say, here's a way that you can continue your training until the next class that we do, if that makes sense. And I hope that it answered your question. So if it is a fundraiser, absolutely. For the training, if we have lunch provided or something along those lines, there would be a cost.
So Nikki gave perfect examples here. From the Google standpoint, our sort of point of view is we hope that our partners will offer these workshops for free because all of the tools and materials that we provide are free. But that being said, we understand that you all have bottom lines and you are nonprofit organizations. So what we would ask is that you can keep the cost as low as you possibly can for your members so that they can still take advantage of the tools and the trainings. And so that's just the Google standpoint on it. Which leads me nicely into the next question, which is there a cost to becoming a Google partner? And the answer is no. All of these tools are completely free of cost. All it takes is a minute of your time to fill in the application that I linked to on the last slide, g.co/grow/ACCE. And there is no obligation to host any workshops once you join the program. All of the materials are free. Getting a trainer to come to your event, as long as your event meets the criteria of having 30 people at least, that is free. All of the physical materials that you can request if you're hosting an in-person workshop, those are free. Everything is free. You don't have to pay for anything in this program at all. It's just Google's way of trying to help the small businesses and job seekers in your community, so totally free of cost. Another question for you, Nikki. What does the follow-up look like for your attendees after these workshops? Are they able to get all the information in one session, or do you generally have repeat attendees?
Great question. Google is constantly coming out with new and relevant workshops. An example being they had a spring into action session that focused on springtime marketing, and that we hosted a viewing party for, and it was really fun. I got to give you guys huge kudos, because I hope you do it again. As part of the little, along with the folders and the pens that came on that one, we got these little planters, these basil and sunflower planters that said "Grow with Google," that each participant got, and that was really fun because they posted it all over social media as those plants were growing with the Grow with Google circle on it. So just really fun there. I got completely off track. The follow-up, that constant contact survey that was sent, that is kind of a way of following up with people, making sure that you have yourself done on Google, if that's even still relevant. We found from those numbers it's not as relevant. It's probably something I could do one-on-one. The YouTube is such a new thing, so it is more relevant for our members, but really the follow-up is just asking. I keep a list of our members that have attended these different events. I'm doing a workshop later this month again at the Realtor Center, which is the same as that initial photo on social media from a few years back. And they actually reached out to me and said, hey, this is becoming relevant again for our new realtors. It's great for me because I get to go meet them and give them something for free, but also show them the relevancy of the chamber for a market. As you guys probably are aware, realtors are a little bit tougher to get to and show that chamber relevance too. So it really depends. I have a lot of personal follow-up, but if it's somebody that I know is really struggling, I try and send them down the rabbit hole with those short Google videos, or just keep them in the loop of new trainings that we have coming up. And we also, just like you guys, probably have a lot of partners that work in marketing. So really, when they really dive into it and they really need that help, that's when we refer our members that specialize in that kind of stuff. So we just kind of give them those starting tools and then refer them on.
Awesome, thanks, Nikki. I have two similar questions from Carol Ann from it's from the same asker, so that makes sense. So from the Adirondack Regional Chamber of Commerce, what is the criteria for becoming a Grow with Google partner? Criteria is that you are a nonprofit organization. You don't have to be a 501c3, and I know that chambers are usually 501c6s, but chambers of commerce all are eligible to become partners and are in fact our best partner type, as I mentioned at the top of the a best partner type, meaning that you host the most number of workshops and trace the most number of people. We love all of our partners equally, but chambers are all eligible. The criteria, if you're asking, for other organizations, is we accept nonprofits. We have to be able to verify that you're a nonprofit. There are very, very limited number of exceptions for Google badged agencies and Google trusted photographers, but those are a very specific subset of individuals at for-profits that can apply. So that is the criteria. Then we have a question from Sue Turner. We have a business using a local address that is a scam. Can we report that to Google to have their website taken down? Sue, that is part of the things that partners can do as part of this program. I encourage you, join the program. and shoot an email over to us at gwgpartners@google.com. We may not be the ones who are able to take it down, but we can lead you through the steps of verifying that business org is a scam. It may be a lengthy process because it's pretty tough sometimes for us to confirm which businesses are legitimate versus not, but that's one of the main things that Google is really trying very hard to do, is make sure there is not any spam or scammers on Google Maps. So join the program, reach out to us, and we'll do our best that we can to help you. A question for you, Nikki, from Michael. How far in advance can we schedule a series? So I think it might be double-pronged question, but I'd love to hear your opinion as somebody who hosts workshops.
It just depends on what avenue you're going down. So, and I'm sure Justine can speak to this as well, but when I'm looking, once again, we work really closely with Dave Delaney, who's our kind of localish trainer, and he will send me, which is taped up to my wall right now, he'll send me, hey, looking forward, these are the workshops we're looking to co-host, or these are the workshops that we have coming up. So we work our marketing around that, or we'll just send it out to our members. If it's something that I am planning, I do like to survey or make sure that I'll have a good attendance and then come up with a marketing plan to send it out. We send it out by email to our members, and we do have a members only Facebook group that all of this, it's kind of like they hear it first in that group. So Justine, you could probably answer better than I, because sometimes we send it out super early, but for the most part, we still want it to be relevant. So usually within a couple weeks.
Yeah, so in terms of from a logistical standpoint, if you're hosting the material yourself and presenting it yourself, it's really how much time you need to prepare and get the word out to community and get people to RSVP. So you can register a workshop in the partner community at any time. If you wanted to host a workshop tomorrow, you could. I don't recommend it because you probably wouldn't have a good, super good turnout, because it doesn't give you a lot of time to get the word out or to learn the presentation materials. But if you're asking Michael specifically about hosting a workshop with a Google trainer, we need about at least 3 weeks notice, because we gotta, the trainers are obviously very in demand. So just to make sure that they have time to attend, that and also for you all to make sure that you can get the word out so that you can meet that 30-person threshold for trainer events. So it really runs the gamut, but I would say start planning your event about at least 3 weeks in advance. And if you want to schedule it even further out than that, you can, and we encourage you to we have chambers that line up viewing parties for our partner digital series for the whole year. We share the entire list of topics at the beginning of the year, and then partners put it on their chamber calendar and say, you know, we're hosting viewing parties for a live stream on this topic on these dates for the rest of the year. So many partners do that in advance.
I jump on that too, just as for any of your event team, or if you're going to do something like the summit, or you really want to guarantee that attendance, we worked with Google and got connected with Maria to get her booked for our Up with Women Summit. This is when she actually came in person for the summit pre-pandemic, but we wanted to get her bio. We wanted to get all that information because it helped with our marketing strategy. So we booked her months in advance just so we could roll out that information to attendees and guarantee that attendance.
Okay, thank you for that, Nikki. How do you coordinate having Google reps speak at online training events? So if you join the program, I'm going to head back actually to that slide so you guys can have the link in front of you. But if you join the program within the partner community on the workshops page, there's a place that you can submit a form saying, you know, I'm having this event and this is the topic I'm interested in, and it will submit it to our trainer team, and then we'll respond back with the availability of the trainer. The trainer can also, if you're not sure of the topic, help you pick the topic based on the needs of your community. So it's a form that you submit in the partner community, which you get access to by becoming a partner at the link you see on the screen. Another question for Nikki. What questions did you ask your members in the surveys you sent out? So the questions,
I'm still a paper person. I'm sorry, Google. I printed out the slides. So in this one, we asked just 2 questions, and then if they wanted to provide their personal information at the end. But The two questions were, which of the following, you can select as many or none, would pertain to you? What trainings do you want? And I went on the Google partnership and pulled 4 trainings that I'm comfortable presenting or that I have the resources to present, because there's a lot of different trainings on there. But sometimes, I mean, there's some stuff for international trade. I'm probably saying it wrong, Justine, but stuff that might not pertain to our members. I know it already, but I put those on. Hey, which one of these just interests you? Which would you like? And then I put on the bottom other, and they went in and actually they wanted some training that Google is not the best resource for, but it gave us some insight that maybe we could pull a partner that can do some other training on these other topics for digital work. And then the other one was, what time frame and what platform do you prefer? So is it morning during work hours, evening during, or afternoon during work hours, after hours, and then in person or via Zoom? And that gave us some great insight for other things that we're doing of what works best for our members right now. So those were some of the questions that I asked.
Amazing. I think we got to most of the questions. There's a question from Nancy about, is there a way to tell what businesses in our area have not claimed their business on Google, short of physically Googling each business? And the short answer there, I wish I had a better answer for you, is not externally. So there's nowhere that you as a chamber can go and like look up all the businesses in your area to see what's online and what isn't. There are, of course, ways for the businesses themselves to Google themselves and find out if they have a presence. Also, if they have a listing that has been created by Google and is unclaimed. A lot of businesses, come to us and say, you have my information wrong in this thing that you have up on Google Maps, but they don't know that they can claim the listing and control the information that's there themselves and add photos and all of that kind of thing. So I encourage you to tell the businesses that you work with to take a look at their listings, and potentially if you hold a workshop around Google My Business, you can have the businesses look themselves up prior to attending the workshop and then help them through the process. Yeah.
And another great way for that too is for your membership person. If you have a dedicated membership person or any staff person, it's great for leads on members too. We already kind of digitally stalk any potential member or prospect by looking them up, looking up their Facebook, LinkedIn, or whatever social medias, but also Googling them. And if I realize that they're not verified, which means they have that box on the side of the page, that's the easiest sales phone call I've ever made, because that's my opener is, did you know you're not Googleable? And letting them know, hey, if you know how you don't see that box on the side, you really should verify it. It's free. I'm happy to help you with doing it. And let's meet in person or via Zoom, depending on COVID regulations. So it is a great resource to do. And I like Googling people while I have them in my office.
Thanks, Nikki. So it's almost time for us to hand things back over to the folks at ACCE. So if you have any final questions, I'm happy to answer them in the chat. Also, I wanted to put this up here. This is a list of the workshop topics. Hopefully you guys can see it. It's not too small for you. I might be able to zoom in a little bit, but you can see a list of all of our small business and startup topics here, job seeker topics available in Spanish. We also have 2 trainers that train in Spanish. So you can see we have a variety of topics available. We talked a lot about Google My Business today, which is why I wanted to put up our list of topics, because it's by no means the only topic that we have available for small businesses. So wanted you guys to see that. All right, and I'll hand things back over to Beth.
Thank you. Justine, while you have that up, I'm thinking if you send that link to us, we'll make sure that everybody that registered gets that in their follow-up email along with the recording. So
Unfortunately, this list is only available for you to see once you become a partner. So we can't send it over to ACC, only because the links here go directly to the workshop content and all that themselves. So it's only for partners, but you can easily see this list by joining the program.
Okay, terrific. Well, we can include that information.
Great, thank
and
you.
becoming a Grow with Google partner. So with that, I want to thank Niki for your enthusiasm. I think you probably got a lot of people excited to conduct some of these trainings of their own. So thank you so much, and congratulations again to you and the Chamber. Love to see that you got some good media attention, and we are always looking for chambers that are hitting it out of the park. So thank you very much for participating. Justine, thank you for handling presentation and the Q&A and being a great partner to us and to chambers. I'm going to put a plug in here for next year's, because I think we have plenty of time for people to roll out trainings and start to build their own process so that they can participate in this awards program next year. The open period is October to February. It is the Grow with Google Community Partnership Awards. You will be seeing information starting this summer from ACCE and Google, and obviously at our annual summit in July, we'll have more information available there. So hopefully you'll see some really tough competition next year. Again, I want to just thank everyone and let you know the recording will be sent to you within the next 24 to 48 hours. Please feel free to share that with any colleagues that couldn't make it today. And then more than anything, thank you for your attention. We look forward to seeing you again on another Partner Solutions webinar. And thank you to Justine and Niki for making this one a success. Have a great afternoon, everyone. Take care.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, ladies.